This is your school news information station. It's THTV.
Welcome to this THTV special from London and the Queen Elizabeth Conference Centre.
My name's Dina Fahmy.
And I'm Sam Howarth. During this programme, we will be talking to Mr Oliver Letwin, MP for West Dorset and Shadow Minister for Rural Affairs.
We'll be asking him about the student voice, our theme for this THTV special. Also in this programme, we will be talking to delegates and students at the Leading Edge conference, as well as bringing you the opinions of our students on school dinners.
THTV.
Good morning. We're in the office of Mr Oliver Letwin and we're going to talk to him about student voice. Firstly, I'd like to ask you if you think people are listening enough to young people's voices in rural communities.
I think, for some purposes, yes, and other ways, no. I think people do try and take account of what young people want by way of facilities. For example, in Maiden Newton recently, I opened a sort of wonderful device for using skateboards, because young people there had said that's what they wanted. But for other purposes, probably no, in the sense that there's a large collection of things that get decided by committees of various kinds, and typically they don't speak to anyone very young, because young people don't appear on these committees. So there is a problem of finding out what it is that young people want.
How important is the student voice in respect of the quality of their educational experience?
I don't think actually that on the whole you can ask people who are being educated how they ought to be educated, because you don't know until you've tried. But I do think that people ought to be able to vote with their feet. I mean, if they find that they're not learning what they'd like to be learning, one wants to try and find a way that they can go somewhere else where they can get what they want. Because although I don't think you can expect somebody who's a student to provide the answers about how to teach, I do think students know pretty well whether they're learning anything. And so, just like consumers in a restaurant, if you don't like the meal, you can go somewhere else. I'd like to make it much easier for students who don't feel they're getting what they came for to go somewhere else and try to get it there.
What do you think we should ask students?
I think students have to mobilise themselves and make clear what they want to be asked, what they want to say. In my experience with my own children, they are not very backward in explaining what they want and think. They say so. And I think that the issue is to make sure that the rest of us listen when people do say things.
THTV.
We've asked delegates at the Leading Edge conference how they are listening to their students.
We have a school council, and that's the main mechanism by which we hear student views. So we have the year council, which then feeds into the main school council, and then the school council make the representations to the leadership group. And sometimes we ask them, actually, if they've got a particular issue, particular concern, then they actually come along to the leadership group meeting, make a full presentation on what they think, or what their particular ideas are, or what their concerns are. And then obviously they get direct feedback as a consequence of that.
Do these ideas generally get carried out?
Some of them do, not all of them. Some of them largely because of money. One of the things that a big issue for us is toilets, as it might be in lots of schools. And we don't disagree with what they're saying, but it's finding the cash to be able to support the things that they want to happen, for the refurbishment and things. But we try and do as much as we can. So things like that is not an issue. But what we have moved away from is lots and lots of discussions about things like uniform, which won't change because of governors' views and parental views. They're comfortable with what we've got, but we're trying to direct their discussions onto things that they can change, that they can influence, and that we know, just from even teachers know they need to change. So we try and make it a positive experience for them to make sure we respond to what they want.
It's mainly done via the house system, where the house captains will meet together with the house heads, and they'll have topics for discussion, and it will be fed back by the house captains to the classes as to what's taking place. There are informal ways. Staff talk to the students all the time, and get informal feedback about various things. But that's the formal way it's done. Then in the sixth form, there's a sixth form forum where they'll discuss various items, and it's up to the representatives to feed it back to the sixth form.
How do you find out students' views and opinions, and do you provide feedback to them?
We do. Actually, we're just involved in transforming learning of the Haymarket Beers research. So it's actually very interesting because we actually ask the children in the classroom to put their direct impact onto the computer, and then we analyse it each term. So, for instance, something that's quite funny that happened, there was a teacher in the school who used to think that her classroom was lovely, lots of plants and everything, but the children actually hated the plants in it. So that direct impact is at the end of the term they just removed all the plants. So we do listen to what children say, very much so.
How do you find out students' views and opinions, and do you provide feedback to them?
We have held our first meeting of a pupil forum, and we asked students that day to look at some work being prototyped by Future Lab, which is at the forefront really of using technology in teaching and learning. So we asked students to tell us what they thought of the Future Lab work, and that was extremely useful. Of course, Future Lab were there to listen to the students. But that was our first work with students, and I think it's probably something we should look at more.
Do you take students' opinions and put that forward?
I'm responsible for the national elements of the programme. I'm responsible for today, and I'm responsible for a series of events that are called the Innovation Exchanges, and we bring together teachers from all of the schools nationally to share their experience and develop the programme. I will be honest, I've not yet taken responsibility for students at national level. Really, we've depended upon the partnerships doing that work locally, but I did want to invite more students today, and I must say that the students, I think, are telling us that they want a higher profile nationally for the work that they're doing.
THTV.
We asked students at the Thomas Hardy School what they really thought of school dinners.
Because I don't eat meat, everything's got meat in, basically, apart from the cakes, which is quite nice.
Yeah, they're okay, quite good.
Well, I have to say, I think they're very good. You're quite lucky, lots of choice.
I think they are unhealthy and a bit disgusting, really.
So sometimes you get food not too nice, a bit overpricey, a bit expensive, but generally it's quite nice.
They're horrible.
Like more variety and less like fatty foods.
School dinners are okay, but I don't like all the stuff we're trying to give us.
Yeah, I think it's really good and it's quite accessible.
I don't think there's enough choice. I think there's too many chips and stuff like that, and I think some of the prices maybe sometimes in the vending machines are quite expensive.
Not very nice.
I don't think it's really fair that the salads are more expensive than the pizza and that, because then people get pizza rather than the salad.
There isn't exactly any options for those who don't want fully healthy, just
Well, they've got a lot better recently since the whole Jamie Oliver thing, I've noticed, especially with the chicken wraps. They're very good. But still a lot of burgers, chips, wedges, and sometimes when you go there in the morning for a snack and you want something healthy, there's not really a lot there to have.
THTV.
Students from the school's juggling club recently visited a circus in Dorchester. They watched a performance and took part in a workshop. This is Dina Fahmy reporting. I think we should leave it to the professionals.
THTV.
Because some students must have thought this is a funny.
We started THTV
Yeah.
end of January, early January, and gradually we started off with maybe 3 of us.
Yeah.
And we've got a big group of students now that help us create programs that are really trying to show it. I think by the end of the year we'll have lots more students that are, more keen to see how important their voice is in the school.
So really trying to win over some sceptical students as well as some kind of cautious teachers. Yeah. So you've just really got to keep at it.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, we all enjoy it. I mean, if we didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be here now doing this.
No,
so.
right. Do you know any other school who's doing something similar?
I'm not really sure. We've not come across anyone who's
not.
doing anything like this yet. So we think it's something that's fairly leading edge. And
I think you probably are leading edge.
THTV.
We hope you have enjoyed your day as much as we have. Thank you for watching THTV. For more news and information, visit the school website.
This is your school news information station. It's THTV.